Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, make videos for NFL. All these videos, they get posted on this subreddit right here. It's called DF Sports. Didn't post an NFL video for this week, but I did do a little write-up. It's already up here on the Reddit. You can check that out as well. Just one of my favorite stacks, what I'm doing for cash, that stuff. But yeah, I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate, all that good stuff. This Reddit post will be linked down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter right here. All right, let's go over my lineups from the day. But before we do that, if you are interested in joining my Discord, I'll have a link to that down below as well. Where I give you guys cores of 4 to play for or for GPPs. I give you a cash pool as well, a whole player pool that you can use for 20 max, 150 max, private videos, like I said, cores, night slate content, showdown cores, pretty much everything you can imagine. That'll be linked down below as well. So I thought the lineup today was pretty obvious. As you can tell, I'm duped. I did not expect to be duped this much, but I felt like the lineup kind of built itself today. I mean, with Butler out, it was clearly obvious to be all over the Miami Heat, and that's what we did. We absolutely jammed the Miami Heat. You could have played up to 5 Miami Heat, and that's what a lot of us did. We played 4 Miami Heat. I think I had 4 Miami Heat in the core. Or no, I had 3. My core today was Jackass. I was shocked half the field faded. Just absolutely shocked by that. Um, Duncan Robinson core, he was that just awful game from him. Kyle Lowry core, he did great, and then Giannis Antetokounmpo was a core play for me. He smashed. And then rounded out my lineup, Campaign got benched. Unfortunate there, but yeah, I mean phenomenal day. And then yesterday was a great day as well. Feels good. Feels good to start finally crushing some NBA again. Been tired of Showdown saving me. Feels good to crush a main slate. So hope you guys all had a good night. And yeah, let's get into this breakdown for this Sunday slate. I believe 7 games we have here. I love this slate once again. You heard me say yesterday, I loved yesterday's slate. I love this slate once again. So I don't know if Butler is going to be playing tomorrow. I haven't seen anything. So I guess we'll go over both ways if he's in, if he's out. Now, if Butler is in, I think it's a really good spot up against the Spurs. I would like Butler and I would like Bam quite a bit. I think people are probably going to be scared of their price points, but I really don't care. Like look at the offense surrounding them with Tyler Hero out. They have no offense. Like you have Duncan. That's it. Butler, Bam, they're going to have to do everything for this team. Um, I would like both quite a bit if Butler plays. Kyle Lowry, I think would still be a fair play at 6K. More approaching that price point to where he's probably right with no Butler and Harrell, but I still think would be solid. Jay Rich, no thank you. And then it kind of takes Duncan would still be playable, but not as much. Jackas would go to the bench. Um, and then if Highsmith starts, I think he'd be a reasonable value. But if Butler's out again, then we're probably going to be loading up on Miami once again. Then I would really like Bam, even at this price. I would really like Kyle Lowry. I would really like Duncan Robinson. I would really like Jackas. I would really like Highsmith. Jay Rich would be playable. So there would be a lot to like with this Miami team. If Butler is out. All right, moving on to the Spurs. So, not a good spot here. Wemby, I'll always mention him for tournaments just because the ceiling is massive. But just more of a tournament play for me. But he does have this type of upside, so I'll always mention him. I think if the game stays close, should play 30, 35 minutes as well. So don't mind it for tournaments. Keldon Vassell, they're overpriced in my opinion. Zach Collins, you have at 6.3K, has dealt with a bit of foul trouble of late. But I think we get around 30 minutes from him regardless if the game stays close and he stays out of foul trouble. Which makes him reasonable at 6'3". And then Sochan, I think, is fine at 5'6". Should play 30 minutes starting at point. I don't think he really has the upside to win you a tournament at this price point, but very, very safe. Like, probably not going to kill you, probably not going to win you anything or win you a tournament, but very safe. So Sochan, solid. And then if Trey Jones is out, you'll probably see more of a run for, like, Branham. It's fine. Don't love it. I think we'll find better value elsewhere. And then on to Detroit, so got to keep an eye on the Ivy and Burks news, and Duran is out. So I guess we'll go over it both ways. If they're both in, I think, Cade, I always have interest in for tournaments. Had a really, really hot start up against the Sixers and then kind of died out there towards the end. And unfortunately, my Sixers are just off to a hot start. Kelly Oubre gets prayers up for him. Just can't catch a break. But looks like he's okay, but gonna miss some significant time. But yeah, I mean, Cade's gonna play close to 40 minutes as long as the game stays close. He can stuff the stat sheet. My only issue with him is he's always in foul trouble. But I like Cade's ceiling. He's always low owned every slate, so every time Cade's on a slate and it's a decent spot, I'm gonna say he's a good tournament play. With Duran out, Thompson's rebounding rates definitely go up a little bit as well. We know he's going to stuff the stat sheet, going to play huge minutes as well. I still think he's reasonable at this price point. Very, very safe. And then if the guards are in, I'm not going to play Sasser or not going to play Hayes. I think Isaiah Stewart's pretty good at 5'5". He's too cheap in my opinion with no Duran. Also might get some backup 5 minutes as well, which will help him quite a bit. And then Bagley, I think, stands out as a really good value once again. I know he's busted as chalk, but can't look at the results. He looks good with no Duran. And then Wiseman will probably get could get the backup 5, would be an interesting play for tournaments. Now, if both the guards out, then it doesn't really change much on my takes for Cade, Thompson, but then I would like both the guards in Sasser and Hayes. Hayes probably going to play 30-ish minutes. Had a really, really big game against the Sixers. Definitely a bit of an outlier, but I would like Hayes, and then I think Sasser would be solid. No, I'm not going to play Mude. Just no. Stop it. All right, Chicago. So it's a good spot. I like the main three Bulls quite a bit. I think they're all too cheap. Levine, Vooch, DeMar. I think they're all pretty good plays. I assume one of them is going to be really, really popular tomorrow. They're all too cheap, and whenever they are, and they have been all season, all of them have been getting ownership. My favorite when we're not factoring in anything is always just going to be Zach LaVine, but I think he'll probably be the most popular tomorrow. But yeah, man, I think all the Bulls look pretty good to me. I think Kobe White's solid too at 5-1. Has had pretty low floor games, but more often than not, he probably gets around like 25-ish fantasy points, but 5-1 is definitely solid. So I think Kobe's solid. Um, excuse me. Especially if Cruz is out. Just going to be locked into a lot more minutes. Not going to play Craig. Yeah, I think the main interest here is the top 3 main guys. Luka, I think he's one of the better spin-ups on the slate. I definitely do prefer Jokic to him, but not going to say no if you want to play Luka. I think he looks good. Kyrie, I still think is a bit overpriced. I'd kind of like to see him in that like 8 to 8.2K range, but does have a ceiling. I think I just prefer spending up for Luka, and then this rotation just play lively, man. I don't know what we're doing here. Just play lively, please. I know we got into foul trouble. I know there's been blowouts, but like he started one game, they went to the bench. Just play lively, man. Outside of Luka, I have a hard time getting anyone. I'm not Derek Jones Jr. I'll let people chase him. He is not a good point per minute guy, and if I am not going to play him, I'll let him continue to prove me wrong. I guess I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. He's not this good of a point per minute guy at this stage in his career. I'm just not going to do it. But if you want to play him, he's been producing well. Go for it. His minutes have been solid when he doesn't get benched either. So if you want to do it, go for it. He's playable. Grant Williams. I'd honestly prefer Grant Williams to Derek Jones Jr. Honestly, now they're at the same price point. So give me Grant over Derek, but I don't love either on this slate, to be honest. All right, Pels. Herb Jones news pretty important. If he is in, I think Zion and Ingram are both solid plays with CJ out. Jonas, his minutes all up in the air, but does have a ceiling. We know he's a really, really good point per minute guy, and if he does find himself into like 25, 30 minutes, he can nuke at this price point. So I always like Jonas for tournaments. Really like the spot for him as well. He could crush here. If Herb's in, I'm not going to play Hawk, not going to play Dyson, I don't think. Now, if Herb's out, doesn't really change my takes on the top 3 here, but I would like Hawkins, I would like Dyson. Hawkins played 41 minutes, fouled out. Dyson played 41 minutes. I mean, I'm pretty sure it didn't even go into OT either. So, whenever you have guys playing this many minutes, and both aren't bad point per minute either, I think both would look good if Herb Jones is out. Not going to play Matt Ryan, not going to touch anything else. And Denver might be one of my favorite teams to target tomorrow up against Houston. I mean, how do you fade Jokic with no Murray? Just the offensive output with no Murray, on top of his rebounding floor, his assist numbers just absolutely wild. His rates with no Murray are just absolutely insane. He is the best spend up on the slate, and it's not even close. And you guys know I was really, really high on Aaron Gordon. I was really, really high on Michael Porter Jr. with no Jamal Murray, and I'm still high on them once again. And I doubt they're probably going to be low on this time, but they were really, really low on last slate. So Aaron Gordon, MPJ, I think both look good. I think Reggie's a solid play at 5-5 as well. Starting point guard, going to play around 30 minutes. So yeah, I really like this Denver team tomorrow. KCB's playable, but don't love much else of the value. Rockets, pretty unappealing team for me up against Denver. Sengun, he'll probably have to play a decent chunk going up against Jokic, but don't love the spot. Fred, 7-6 seems priced, right? Jalen Green, I think it's overpriced now. Jabari, safe play. Brooks, no thank you. Jason Tate might be my favorite play on this team outside of Sengun. Should get low 20s minutes. I think he's a reasonable value. If you think maybe the game blows out, you could look to like Atari Eason, who might benefit from a blowout. I forgot to see if he got blowout run in this game, but last year he would get blowout run. He'd absolutely crush. Really good point per minute. Should get low teens regardless. Like, he's in play, but if the game blows out and he does get run in a blowout, he'll probably crush. Thought I mentioned that, but yeah, don't love much from Houston tomorrow. Don't love much from OKC either. I think SGA is a solid spend up, but trusting anyone else in this rotation is like Chet didn't come in until 3 minutes left into the fourth last game in a competitive game. They benched Dort. Jalen's priced right. Casey Wallace, I believe, started the second half for Dort. It's just disgusting. So I like SGA at the top. Trusting anything else, just impossible. I guess my second favorite play would be Chet, just because he does have a ceiling and should play low 30s minutes in a competitive game. But yeah, mainly just SGA from OKC for me. All right, on to Phoenix. So Booker is doubtful. Bradley Beal probable. Eric Gordon questionable. So they flat out lied about Beal's minutes limit. I mean, if we're going to get 30 plus minutes from a sub 7K Beal with no Booker, I think he looks very strong. Now, is there a world where they go back to limiting him to like 24 minutes? Absolutely. Hopefully we get some clarity on that. But if we get similar minutes to last game, then yeah, I like Beal quite a bit. Nurkic, I think, is solid. Kevin Durant's priced right. Not going to go to anything else. I guess Keita Bates-Diop is fair value. Been starting, been playing around 30 minutes. I don't mind it. And then if Eric Gordon's out, you're probably going to see a bit more Grayson, but don't want to pay that price for him. All right, Timberwolves. I guess we got news that Anthony Edwards is questionable, and then we have Naz Reid questionable. If they're both in, I like Ant, I like Cat for tournaments. Like the spot against the Warriors quite a bit. I think point per dollar, I prefer Cat to Ant, but I think both look good. Rudy Gobert should feast here. I like him as a bounce back candidate. He was chalk last game, busted. Like the spot here, so like Gobert. I think Conley's very safe. Another guy that we'll talk about that's like probably going to get you like 25 fantasy points, not going to kill you, but not going to win you a tournament. Very, very safe. And then Kyle Anderson, I think, is a solid value. Should get mid 20s minutes, good point per minute. Stuff the stat sheet, don't mind him. McDaniels is playable as well. Now, if Ant's rolled out, then I would assume NAW would move into the starting lineup. If he does, he's a playable value. And then, more usage for like Cat. And if Nas is out, you're going to see more run for like Kyle Anderson, McDaniels, would like those guys more. And then I think Shake Milton would be a solid value as well if Ant is out. You'll probably see a bit more run for him. So would like NAW, would like Shake, would like Slow-Mo if those two guys are out, would like Conley would get a little bit of a boost, would like Cat obviously. So keep an eye on that news. Could open up a lot of potential plays. Warriors, this team's just also disgusting. Steph Curry, I think, is always in play for tournaments just because his ceiling, but don't love much else. Kind of want to see what Wiggins finished with minutes-wise tonight because the rotation they've been running is just been gross. If we get like a similar rotation and Wiggins does play close to 30 minutes, then I think he's fair value, but not confident there. All right, last game here, guys. And if you think this game stays close, I mean, there's going to be a lot to like here. So, Scoop, Rob, Brogdon out. You're going to get Skylar Mays at the point. I think he looks very solid at 5'4". I know it's disgusting, but played huge minutes. So, like Skylar Mays, if this game stays close, you're going to see a huge game from Shaden Sharp. Even if it blows out, he's probably going to push for like 34, 35 minutes. So, I like Sharp. Jeremy Grant's going to have a big game if they keep this close. I like his ceiling a lot. I like Aiton at 7-2. Like I said, I like Skylar Mays. You're probably going to see more run for Kamara. He's an interesting value. Matisse Thybulle probably have to do a bit more playable, like play 34 minutes there. Um, might even see more Jabari. He's an interesting dart. I don't mind him. So a lot to like on this Portland team, especially if you think this game does stay close. And then if you think it does stay close, then did we just get an update that they're both questionable? I guess LeBron is questionable. If LeBron's in, then I like AD. I like LeBron. D'Lo's fine. If they start Reddish, I think Reddish is solid value. If they start Reeves, then Reeves is playable. Wouldn't play Reddish off the bench. Not going to play Prince. And then don't love Rui at that price. And then if LeBron's out, I guess we'll kind of keep an update on what they do with the starting lineup. But if LeBron's out, then like AD is gonna look great. I would really like D'Lo. If they start Reeves, I would really like Reeves. So keep an eye on that, but could have a ton of value if LeBron's out. I didn't even know he was questionable, but I guess that came in a bit later. So yeah, if LeBron's out, really like AD, really like D'Lo, really like Reeves, assuming he starts, which I think he would. They could do a number of things, I guess, with the starting lineup. Prince would get a boost. I wouldn't mind him. So keep an eye on that. I'll make updates on Reddit, and I'll talk to you guys later.